Good evening. Welcome to Phil's Corner, and many of you will have seen we are doing the hot wall tonight. We are doing our what is usually our Thursday show. We're going to do that today and Thursday so we can catch up with the new kits. And actually, I was just looking as I've been preparing for tonight. I think we will catch up, if not tonight, on Thursday. So that's good because we are, we're entering main kit release season. Many kits aren't released till July, so we're still in the kind of early stages. But I thought we'd go back to eBay streams will return soon. But guys, there's all these new kits. Also, as many of you will expect from me, I'm not watching the England game tonight, but that is happening tonight. So I'm hoping you guys will keep me updated. And Thomas has already said, pretty to see Phillips off. Or hope that's not too bad. I assume injury. Again, I've not watched the game, but do post goal updates or anything that happens. Now, one question actually, I haven't checked. Are Germany wearing There was some rumours that they'd be wearing the women's kit. Is that the case? If so, please let me know. I've literally I've had tea and as I say, prepared it for the stream. I've not looked at even what kit Germany are wearing. So that's one question I have for you guys. But good evening, Thomas. Good evening, Andres. Good to see you guys. And I'm just getting this second screen, i.e. my phone. Ready? There we go. John Carr says MLS just debuted their prime blue shirts this year, not as good as last year. The blue version is just a darker shade of last year. The white is too faded to the design. Yeah, I mean the last couple of shirts that MLS have done for it was previously Parley, now Prime Blue, have been pretty underwhelming. It must be said, at least from a design perspective. They've just been template designs, very little in the way of bespoke elements. So yeah, bit of a shame for the collecting side of things. They are wearing the kit. Thank you, Thomas. So that's interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. Good way to promote the shirt. Yeah, I like it. And I just say, multitasking while watching the Australia UAE game. So he plays my Peru next week. Very interesting. Yeah, again, please keep me updated with anything, any score updates, anything like that. Yeah, nice. Lots happening tonight. Not least this stream, of course. Thomas says, Phil, are you getting on a South Africa kit? As South African, I need to see that. Yeah, Thomas. First thing I need to double check is, are they allowing people who aren't South Africans to enter? Because I didn't notice it first, but someone pointed out on the graphic that that it said something about design, by South Africans or something along those lines. First question is, can I enter? If I can, I have some ideas. I was brainstorming some ideas just this afternoon. I've got a fun idea. I mean, the design obviously doesn't need to be done for I think it's till the end of August, so we've got plenty of time. But I'm pretty keen to put my ideas forward. Of course, with the Red Star competition, how well that went and the response to that. I've been really kind of encouraged to go for it. So yeah, we'll see. And just before we jump to top, I will say as well, guys, please subscribe if you're new. I've got a video coming this week where I'll be showing all of the shirts that I've bought in the past month, and also showing some of the shirts that you guys have bought. So that's a fun video coming very soon. Obviously, there's the streams here. We've got other videos coming as well. So there's lots coming this year. I'm going to be really trying to ramp up, I think, the amount of content for sure. So being a subscriber, you find out when the videos go live, and it's the best way to support the channel. Also, the usual good stuff. Liking the video helps so much. Commenting as well helps. And there's also a Patreon if you want to support me further. I think that'll do it. I'm just trying to get this second screen sorted again. I'm having a few issues. I do need to invest in a second monitor. I think that's the big change I think I need to do. But anyway, once again, apologies. That's not working there. Just need to make sure. There we go. Right. John Carter says, I don't think MLS will work with Parley this year. The colour says prime green, even though this is prime blue. Yes, I think I might be wrong on this, but I believe Parley is just the name. Are they a subsidiary of Adidas, or maybe they're not? Maybe they're actually a separate entity. But I was under the impression that they were in some way directly affiliated with Adidas, and therefore it's effectively like the kind of branch of Adidas or what have you. And then Prime Blue is just similar to that, but again, I might be way off there, honestly. Right, Photoshop's been a bit slow. There we go. I hope to see that if you're able to. Yeah, man, we'll see how it goes. Cool. So it goes one sec. There are 7 Party for the Oceans. Thank you, John Carl. Thank you. It also says excited to set the regular videos back. Yeah, man. I say, I'd hope I can do one a week. It might not be quite that frequent, but I'm gonna certainly be doing more on top of the live stream. So there should be some good stuff to come. Now, very quickly, I've explained this many times, but this is the hot wall. our giant football shirt tier list. It's so busy, I love it. The hottest shirts, my favourite shirts of the year on the right. My least favourite shirts on the left. Last time, incidentally, we were talking to Prime Blue. That's where we're going to start this evening. So you know what, guys? Oh yeah, we will definitely catch up this week, which is good because we've been trying to do that for a while now. Yeah. Now these shirts, for those that don't know, it's an ongoing initiative from Adidas. And the general gist is that these shirts are released to help raise awareness for environmental initiatives. My internet's looking very slow. Please do let me know as well if there's any problems with the stream, if it's slow or anything like that. Please do let me know, because sometimes I don't always find out till late. Yeah, but honestly, guys, I don't want to spend too much time on this because this is essentially just different colorways of a base Adidas style. The pattern is just from a template. And there's not really much to say. I don't know if these colorways are bespoke. They may be. But honestly, I think even though so I don't actually mind this template, both in terms of construction and pattern. Again, I'm having some real issues with, one second. I just want to check my internet. Now, everything's showing okay. If you can hear me, or if there's any issues, please do send us in the chat. If not, yeah, I'm going to continue as if it's fine. But as I say, I don't know if it could be the Football Shirt Culture site. Yeah, I'm noticing it's very slow to load the images. Okay, maybe we're back now. Yeah, so template designs. I actually don't mind this. Even though it's a template, I'd probably put, certainly the blue one, I kind of don't mind. I mean, it is a very basic in terms of, the design, given that it's a template, but I do actually quite like the, that shade of blue and red. I'd probably actually sneak this in the Canon tier, despite it being a template. Because I actually don't mind this template. I don't mind the pattern. I would, I'd expect more from this kind of shirt, especially because, this is a big initiative for Adidas, or MLS, I should say. But we'll stick this one, we'll stick this one in the bottom of the Canon tier. I think the away, or the white variant, I would stick in the Ice Cube tier. I don't like that one as much. It does remind me a little bit of a recent Atlanta United shirt. I think that was their away shirt. It looks very similar to that. It reminds me a lot of one of their away shirts recently. Australia just scored. Have they just? So have they playing UAE? I must be honest. I don't know anything about UAE football. Australia, of course, are they've been fairly regular at World Cups, haven't they? So, although as a Kiwi, there's certainly a friendly rivalry between Australia and New Zealand, but no, I'm sure they'll do the business tonight. Australia, that is. Yeah, so this one, guys, as I say, it's just honestly compared to some of the other Parley shirts over the years, or the Prime Blue shirts, which have been a lot better. These ones are very underwhelming. They really are. I can't even see any interesting details, which, given a shirt, with relatively minimal, what looks like minimal effort in terms of design, it must be said, you'd at least want to see some details to help lift it. And I don't see that here. But let's continue. Peterborough United. Now, I think the biggest thing to say here is this feels very much like it's trying to cash in, I should say, on the black and gold trend, which honestly feels I think it's a little bit too late to the party. Yes, black and gold is a popular colourway, and I'd expect this to be fairly well received. And indeed, 15 minutes in, I'm already yawning. I'd expect this to be well received by the fan base, or at least, typically these colourways are popular, and they are popular for a reason. They are quite wearable. Is the colourway enough though? I don't think it is. Honestly, I think at least for someone like me who's seen so many shirts, a shirt like this, personally, I think it. I've seen enough black and gold shirts, and I mean, let's have a quick look. Maybe there's a good story here. Return to the iconic colour of black. I don't know if that's specific to the team or if that's just but I'd probably put this one just in the Ice Cube tier just because it feels. I mean, literally, they're playing on the black and gold, but I think I've seen too many kits. That feels. It sounds silly, but that feels very 2020 to me. And I mean, John Carr sums up very well there, or at least my thoughts very well. Black and gold needs to be given the rest for a few years. There's nothing special about it right now. Exactly my thoughts. I think I can. In fairness, if it's a third shirt, obviously there's a lot of kind of at the end of the day, I understand teams that release third shirts that they just want to release because I think they look cool. But yeah, just this one gets lost in the noise for me. And sorry, just catch up with the comments as well. I'm often very slow as I'm trying to read them. England losing. Musiala is going to haunt them. Indeed, he will. I'm just saying, Phil, with the New Zealand Costa Rica game next Tuesday, will you delay the stream to watch New Zealand? Yeah, honestly, I need to see what time that is on and if I can watch it. I mean, if it's not on TV, I'll find a stream of it for sure. Yeah, because that will be a big game. And we may delay the stream, depends on timings, or I may try and watch it at the same time, which could be tricky. He tied it up. Man, I must say, and this is not the first time I've said this, but when there's a game going on, and I might honestly consider changing the time slot so it doesn't clash with the Champions League next season, for example. Because it often seems to be some good games. I do appreciate the well, one, I appreciate any of you who are watching this and watching a game. I appreciate that commitment, even if you got me on mute or have you, or just on your phone. It really does mean a lot. It's good, but I do appreciate the comments as stuff happens. And Thomas, thoughts on South African kits in general? Oh, honestly, if I was to give a one-liner, I think there's a lot of untapped potential. That's what I would say with South African kits. I can't, there's a few famous ones, obviously, from the 90s, particularly. But yeah, it feels like there's a lot that could be happening. Oh, yeah, sorry guys, yawning very early on. Often it doesn't take that long, but we will power through. Now I'm just double checking because we've got the Puma shirts. Now I believe we did Italy's, didn't we, last week? And I can see it just there. I don't think we did the other Puma shirts. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we didn't. So we'll come to Switzerland. Now, again, I'm just double checking. Yeah, no, I don't think we did. We did Puma shirts. I really should should remember, but we will go on anyway. I understand I got the game in mute. I know where my priorities lie. Much respect, my friend. Honestly, it does mean a lot. This Switzerland shirt, I believe this is not into an older design. It certainly has a kind of retro feel with the stripes. I think, the Puma collection, we talked a bit about last week, it is a very confusing collection in that there's not really a kind of central theme running throughout the shirts. A lot of the designs have a retro nod, and I'm speaking about all the Puma shirts here in the latest collection, but yeah, it doesn't feel like there's a very strong story here. And this one, honestly, it's fine. I don't mind that look. It does have, as I say, a kind of retro aesthetic, almost like an old Admiral kit. But that's it. You take away that element, it is very, very plain. And honestly, it feels like, unfortunately, a second-rate international shirt. Yes, that pattern I think was bespoke to the club, to the country, I should say. But it's too safe, and I think honestly, again, maybe just some details to lift it. I don't think it needs to have a crazy pattern, and it probably would actually be quite a conflict having a crazy pattern with that element at the top. But I would still want to see some details, and it's often lacking with international shirts. They do have in some ways quite tight restrictions, but yeah, not an exciting one. I think it probably has to go in the Ice Cube tier, only just because it's it's more in there because it's a little bit too safe rather than being ugly. You know what? You can look at some of the Bayern Munich shirt there. I'd honestly rate it around that, maybe even a bit lower. That's there for different reasons, but yeah, just quite underwhelming. Now Ghana, I like this a bit more. You've got the flag element, and international shirts with flag elements are typically a good way to go. I think it's an obvious ploy, but it works for a reason. I think that's it's one thing I like to see in international shirts. I think my least favorite thing about this shirt is the neckline. That honestly, I mean some people commented it on the time that it's actually very reminiscent of some of the Nike. You remember the Nike third shirts from was it 2019 or 2020? I think it was one of those a couple of years ago. Which are kind of retro aesthetics, and which had retro aesthetics, sorry, and it reminds you of that, but almost like because it's not contrasting, they've almost sort of covered it up. It's just a bad neckline in my opinion, and it does spoil what is a pretty smart shirt. Yes, it is relatively simple, but honestly, the flag detail on the cuffs is nicely done. Like the Switzerland shirt, again, it feels like it's a bit lacking. That's a small. I mean, I think that's just a repeat of the crest on the back. Very sloppy. Yeah, so it's probably in the canal tier. In the middle of the canal tier. I think there's better Puma shirts, and we'll come on to those shortly. But that neckline really does let it down. I think that it's just. I think it looks quite clunky. It's one of those necklines, and I don't know if you guys think this, but often with necklines, it feels like they're just a complete afterthought. Like they get in the way of a shirt's design, I think, so often. And that's kind of one of the reasons I actually quite like crew necks a lot of the time, is that even though they're not very exciting, they at least allow the shirt to kind of breathe a bit. But yeah, Ghana at the World Cup is going to be good, and I'm excited to see them there. I like this Senegal shirt a little bit more, and let's get into that. Before I do, some more comments. Thomas saying, agreed, there is so much about the country that can be utilised. The AFCON winning kit and the 2010 kit is iconic. Yeah, to be fair, I'm probably forgetting some of those major shirts. Obviously 2010 was great, and memories of that are very vivid. But yeah, that's good. Thomas says as well, I've got a sound for both this and in Germany, but definitely more attention here. Oh guys, I can't say how much it's yeah, I really enjoy this. I really enjoy hanging out with you, and appreciate the love. That is for sure. Senegal. Obviously, well, the first thing to talk about is those colours again. The flag colours utilised even more prominently than the Ghana kit, and that's a benefit, I think, in this case. Honestly, when it comes to a team that often plays in white, it really is a good base to use those flag colours. In a way which, you look at the Ghana shirt, it's good, it's solid, the neckline lets it down. This one, a slightly better neckline. I'm still not overly enamoured with it, but obviously having the flag colours there are good. And I really like this V section on the front. And, Senegal, again, looking pretty good. Am I right in sending the World Cup this year? I might be completely wrong on that. Obviously, they just won AFCON, but yeah, I really, really, I think this is really good. It's not the most innovative design. It does feel, relatively, I'd say, I hate to use the word safe again, but it is, it's a tried and tested formula of using flag colours. But that middle section looks really good. I think this one, I'd be tempted to stick it in Flames tier, but I think I'll stick it in the Canal tier. And the high end of the Canal tier, maybe I'm being harsh. No, I will stick it in the Flames tier, because when I look at some of the shirts here, yeah, I think it compares favourably to something like a Luxembourg there. Honestly, I'll happily put this one here. Given the the colourway is really good, and obviously this is the flag of Senegal there. It looks good. Those colours just absolutely scream African football as well. And indeed, many African flags are green, yellow, and red. But no, I like that. My one comment would be, I'm not sure necessarily about the combination of that V-neck and the V on the shirt. I don't know. I hate to just suggest a crew neck. I think that would actually look better. But regardless, I'm being picky. It's pretty solid. And Gang was saying can't go wrong with Pan-African colours. Indeed. That's exactly my thoughts. Now, Athletic Club. We might even get on to tonight, or if not tonight, certainly on Thursday, about the away show that was released today, which is very good. Now, the home is also good, but there's one thing I don't like about this, and you guys know exactly what it is. It is the one-button collar. Oh, guys, okay, this is a bugbear of mine. It's just something that for whatever reason, I don't really like. Even just the way, look at the way it sits there, and these collars don't do it for me, and that is my one. Honestly, that's a very small negative, but it is a negative. It's enough to stop this from being in the volcano tit in my eyes. I genuinely think with a collar more to my taste, I think this has an outside shot at being a volcano tit shirt. Yes, it's not evolutionary, but I do really like it. It sounds silly, but the way that the stripes are actually created with the material, it's not just a print. That sort of stuff matters. It adds a level of quality to the shirt. You could argue that it looks a bit, not quite as sharp, but actually I think this looks good, especially with the embroidered crest. And again, I'm not always big on embroidered crests, but this one, it's more of a patch, isn't it? But I like that quite a lot. It matches that aesthetic of the body of the shirt. The amount of black is good. It's a really good shirt, and it pains me to say it. I mean, we stuck in a shirt with a gradient into the volcano, so maybe. No, I mean, I think I will stick this very high in the flames tier, and I mean literally, I'm talking the top end. This is a really good Athletic Bilbao home shirt, and I'm going to say it now, and we'll talk more when we get to the away shirt, but I really think, guys, that New Balance are coming back in a big way this year. They've been a little bit off the pace in my eyes the last couple of seasons, but I really think this is a season where we're seeing a return to form. Yes, I don't love one-button collars, but that is one of my only criticisms about this shirt, and indeed even the Roma shirt I was quite high on. You can see it there. So yeah, I'm big on New Balance this year, and this is a good example of that. Gang will say New Balance can be hit or miss. Yeah, indeed. I think, as I say, I think there's actually been more misses than hits, at least the last couple of years. But this year, we're seeing some hits in my eyes. At least I'm liking the early stuff that we're seeing. Thomas says the England team has been so poor recently. Looks like they've never even played together. Yeah, after all the potential, and obviously the Euros going so well, at least I don't follow the team very closely. Of course, I'm not even watching the game, but yeah, I'm not liking the vibes that I'm hearing. Now, RB Leipzig. It's a real shame in many ways to see the drop off from last season. Obviously, it's always hard to follow a collection which was as strong as last season's kits. It just feels like a step down. I mean, this aesthetic, I don't hate it. It's obviously the Red Bull logo, which is always prominent. It feels particularly prominent, on the very, very dark base. It doesn't really. I think it's obviously a victim. It's a victim of the success of last season. Looking at that, yeah. I mean, obviously you'd like to see him on the back, but that's a classic issue. Yeah, honestly, I don't think this is the most appealing pattern. If this is bespoke to the team, that's always a good thing, and it doesn't. I don't think it's a template pattern. That is a good thing. But yeah, I would honestly probably, I think if it's going to go anywhere, it's going to go in the very bottom of the candle tier. I think despite the criticisms, the overall look, I would say it fits around this kind of area for me in my estimations, but I wouldn't say it's one that I would go out my way to collect, and it's not one which I think, again, given how I think, yeah, there was such a strong visual identity to their shirts last season, and I think in terms of the patterns across the board, they looked great. This one feels a lot more. Honestly, it's just not as exciting, and I think given it's a third shirt as well, which you should have license to do something crazy, or at least something which feels like it has a strong identity. This one doesn't for me. Obviously, they're a very new club and what have you, but I don't think that means you can't have good kits that feel as part of their, albeit short, history. Water says, are you going to buy the CVS Mystery Box? Yeah, honestly, Water, I really thought about it and I was kind of up for it, but I've decided not to. Given the money, at the end of the day, I could do a video. I may still do a video one day because I think it would be interesting. But yeah, in short, I'm not going to go for it, at least initially. But having said that, I will continue to assess that. As I say, the last time they did a drop, I did talk about, I think I mentioned on Twitter about maybe buying one in and doing a video review. I may still do that. It probably would be quite good for views, actually, to be fair. So I might need to think about that. We're looking now at the Armenia home shirt. Now, Macron, in many ways, after they lost or moved on from the UEFA kit assistance scheme, which Array are now part of, Macron now don't have as prominent a role in terms of the international scene. They lost, effectively they still working with a bunch of nations, but there's still some good ones here. And the Armenia shirt here has quite a smart pattern. The funny thing is, even though I don't love gradients, don't get me, I don't typically like them. The way this one's been achieved, I don't hate. It's not just a solid fade, if you like. The way it's been broken up there, it's a little bit better at least. I think there's elements though which I'm not sure about. I'm not sure about these little panels here. It feels like an odd place to have those kind of strips. I can kind of understand it from a design perspective, but also the fact they look, almost, I don't know. They feel like the idea was there, but honestly, I'd probably want to see either like all the way around. I would imagine, or maybe not all the way around the arm. That is, I'm not sure about that. The neckline I don't love, but I mean, we've talked a lot about necklines. There are a lot worse out there. I think for this one to stand out, I'd actually like to see more of this kind of colour. It almost looks kind of purple or navy, but I think you could actually have a bit more of that around the rest of the shirt, and maybe even have that a bit more contrasting with the maroon, because I don't think the colours are that attractive, even though this shirt has some nice elements. Yes, I think this one it is in that kind of upper cube, lower candle for me. That's kind of where I'm sitting. I probably will stick it in the ice cube tier, in the bottom tier. It's, I think, largely the colours, even though I believe they are typical colours for Armenia. I may be wrong on that. But yeah. Now, honestly, I think this one, the pattern is smart, but I think given that it is a gradient, even though I kind of had some confidence on the gradient, it's still for me a little bit of a cheap tactic. We'll stick it right at the top of the counter there. The ice cube tier. Thomas said, I wait to see that Stoke away in Volcano. Well, we will come to Stoke very shortly. The Armenia away shirt. Now, this is interesting because you can see the pattern now is on the sleeves and not the body. Now, there is a nice kind of synergy to that, and I actually quite like that. I think when you see them together, you can kind of see the story there. I do quite like it when you have these kind of links between a home and away shirt. So honestly, kudos to Macron for that. You know what? The flag detail, we talked a bit about flags tonight, haven't we, on shirts. Even though I quite like flags and shirts, this one feels very, very tacky to me. I'd rather see those colours, it's a bit obvious, but in the cuffs, but maybe even better is a sort of pattern, maybe even some of these lines in those colours. You could see that really working well. As is, I mean, even though it looks very tacky, very kind of, I don't know, like something you see on a flyer or kind of tourist board marketing. I actually think I like this combo in terms of the pass on the sleeve rather than the body more than the home. That's despite the flag, which is pretty cheesy. But yeah, I actually think this one, I'd put this in the counter tier. I'm not going to get carried away here, but I think it's better than the home. Yes, that's despite. It's almost so cheesy that I kind of like it. There's something quite charming, quite kind of 90s or noughties about it. It certainly doesn't look like a modern shirt, but there's something quite fun about that. Rick, good friend, Rick FSC. This is finally made a live stream whilst watching the Socceroos. Yeah, Rick, we've had a couple of people watching it in chat, and is it still 1-1? That was the latest I'd heard. We were also discussing the All Whites, who will be playing. Is it next week? So yeah, it'll be good. Let's hope both Australia and New Zealand get there. Yeah, I mean, this one, honestly, the fly detail, it sounds silly. I'm going to put it here, and that is despite. I know it's not a good shirt, but I do actually find that element quite novel, quite charming. It's not particularly good, but there's something about it there. For me, anyway. 1-1, minutes gone. Okay. Yeah, keep us posted, guys. Keep us posted as we go along. Now, Stoke got a lot of buzz on social media, and rightly so. We're back with Macron again. And, this one, well, some people commented on things like the monochrome crest, which not everyone was a fan of. Aesthetically, I don't mind it, although I can understand, particularly from fans, they do get, they're quite passionate about these things. I mean, but things like, stripes on the back, it sounds silly, but that's really good to see. And honestly, for a shirt like this, it's so hard to create new striped shirts. I think this one just about gets the balance right. I think this one is notable for its use of black. I believe that was even mentioned in some of the press releases. That so it talks about reintroducing black as a tertiary colour, as an additional colour. But this is a really good home shirt, and actually I'd probably put this in the Flames tier. And I can't imagine there would have been many Stoke home shirts from the last few years that I would rate as highly as this. But I think this is really good work for Macron. Manufacturers say who they've maybe lost one or two deals, but they are not going anywhere. I think this is just about as good as you can expect, especially considering it's a striped shirt. And again, this is such a thing where so many striped home shirts are just bad because it's really hard to innovate every year. But I think this is a really good version of a Stoke home shirt. One which, and again, it's got the kind of colour I like. I do like that sort of colour. Probably my least favourite thing is this back panel. It looks a bit clunky in my eyes, and that detail isn't the best, but I'm being picky here. I think this is a hot shirt. Which is quite, not something you'd say about every Stoke City shirt. And there's more to come. We will get onto that shortly. Orlando Pirates, a club who have had some amazing shirts. We're back to South Africa. We talked about South Africa at the start, didn't we? This one is a very, very basic Adidas shirt, it must be said. And these guys have had some incredible shirts. Was it 27? I want to say 2017. They had a home and away, which was a really, really popular one, which kind of played on an old retro Adidas template. And this one here is it's just the opposite. There's not really much to talk about. And this template, I believe, is one this construction, I should say, is one that's been used for quite a few years. I want to say it was 3 years ago we saw this sort of base style. I may be wrong on that. But it's very forgettable. There's more red than you typically see on an Orlando Pirates home shirt. But even the quality, look at that, a simple transfer on the back. Again, other Orlando Pirates shirts in the past have had much more quality details which were raised and not just a transfer style like that. So this is unfortunately going to have to go in the Ice Cube tier. They've got one of my favourite crests in world football, but this is not a good shirt in my eyes for the reasons that it is just very, very underwhelming. For a team who've had some really good shirts, in the past they've had shirts, they've been battling kind of Kaiser Chiefs, not only on the pitch, but in the kit department as well. But very disappointing here for Orlando Pirates. And I mean, yeah, Rick's saying it here as well. Orlando and Kaiser Chiefs are really the top two every year. South African football, this is a bit of a letdown. Yeah, it is. It simply is. Thomas and Chiefs always do better. I mean, typically they often do, but I mean, a few years ago, Orlando, was it? I want to say 2017 or 18. It was the one where it was basically a play on an old Adidas template, but it looked really good and the details are great. I actually had both home and away. I since sold them, mainly because they weren't in great sizes. But yeah, I did really like that one. Those ones, I should say. The away. Now, I think this pattern is a template, but I may be wrong. I feel like I've seen that before. I may be wrong, but this one obviously has much more of an instant impact. It feels very much like a Besiktas shirt, though. That's the first thing that I thought of when I saw this, particularly because the amount of red. Honestly, and I think, am I right in saying Besiktas were also sponsored by Vodafone, or have been, right? I think I'm right in saying that. But yeah, I think it's probably marginally better than the home. I still wouldn't rate it very highly, though. I think if it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be hovering between the Ice Cube and the Camel tier. I think I might sneak this one in the Camel tier. If I knew this was bespoke to the team, that probably would nudge it a little bit higher, at least within that tier. Yeah, Rick said it looks like a mighty less simple. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Rick. Brock, good to see you, my friend. And Brock says, I just won my first eBay auction, $15 for 2019 Orlando City home jersey with Muller on the back. That's a good deal by any estimation, Brock, especially with the name set. I actually really like the MLS. Well, they've had a few obviously over the years. I think it's actually quite good. It's one of my favourite league-wide typefaces, the MLS one. That's a great deal. And Australia scored. Rick, so excited that he couldn't spell Australia there. But no, in all seriousness, that is, yeah, nice. He scored, Rick. We come to Gruther, Furth. I don't know. I can't remember how you pronounce that. In German, or indeed I've butchered the team name. Any long-term viewers will know I'm not the best at pronunciations quite often. We've got a kind of almost like braces style in terms of the stripes here. It must be said, the break of the stripes to accommodate the sponsor is pretty painful. It's pretty painful. Obviously, you can see why they've done it, but it doesn't look great. I mean, you could argue that maybe it almost forms this kind of interesting, almost like a cross in the middle. But I'm being very positive there. The plain back doesn't do it much favours. I quite like, green shirts, and green and black has potential. But, to see an example of a green and black striped shirt which works well, I think Austin, for example, Austin FC in the US have had some really nice ones to start off their one home shirt, I should say, to start off their MLS life. Yeah. This one I think is probably going to go in the Ice Cube tier as well. So another one which just isn't floating my boat tonight, I must say. Largely because of that sponsor, honestly. I mean, I think, again, it feels like the kind of thing where they've made that decision before knowing who the sponsor would be. That's the kind of feeling you get from a shirt like that, because it's so... the gap is so big. It's like it really honestly feels like it's been done there to kind of accommodate any possible sponsor. I don't know if these guys have sponsored them before. Maybe that was the case, but yeah, it takes away from the shirt in my eyes. I mean, John Custers looks like a bad Austin FC shirt. Yeah, that's basically what I would say. And I think, again, green and black stripes look really good. Or, there's been some good, think of Sassuolo. There's some good teams that play with those colours. Not that one's not working for me today. Heuristic or Rustic. I don't know if that's a silent H in his name, but with a volley defense, just for a line. Good stuff. I hope you can hang on, Rick. FC Twente. I don't know how you say the name either. Do the Dutch pronounce the W's, or is it like a V like in German? I do not know. But that's not why we're here. We're here to look at their shirts. An interesting look from Maber. I don't think this one's excited me too much. Obviously, Maber's reintroduction to football shirts proper has been quite well received, and rightly so. A brand with a lot of history and heritage. This shirt, again, it's not really exciting me. I think it's surprising or quite interesting to see these stripes going on this side. Typically, if you have this kind of asymmetric look where you've got stripes or a stripe prevailing on one end of the shirt, one side of the shirt, it tends to be through the crest, not the manufacturer mark. So that actually gives it an interesting, it's almost a surprising element to it. But in the same way, it's not. I don't understand why the main sponsor has to be here as well. That feels completely unnecessary. It's not necessarily a huge deal, but I mean they're on the back as well. So there's 3 places with the same sponsor. Honestly, that doesn't make sense. And this line also doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Well, I don't understand why that's there. And I hate to sound a bit down on Maber, but I'm not the biggest fan of the sleeve details. I get it; it's a nice element, but it doesn't really look that good. I don't think in the darker red here. We can't get a good look at it in these pictures, but yes, I think I actually don't really like this one, and I really am happy to see Maber back. Rick making a good point about the Fürth shirt. May have lost Bundesliga sponsor, had to change this when they got relegated. I'd forgotten that they had been relegated, or I'd missed that. So yeah, that is a fair point, Rick. That honestly is the vibe I got from it. But yeah, this one is probably going to be. I think it's going to be in the ISQ tier. I feel like I've been very down on these shirts so far. I promise I'm not just having a bad day. I think, yeah, honestly, this one on the higher end, it very much feels to me like, it feels at home in this kind of zone. There's some shirts in here which honestly aren't far from being much better, but this is the standards we're talking about. The shirts here I just like better. That's the way it goes. But we come to Stoke now. We go back to Stoke, I should say. Thomas saying the sponsor is everything indeed. Yeah, that's confusing me. The 3 inches of the same sponsor. Not about that. Now, this shirt, again, follows what... I mean, I liked the home, and I'm going to tell you guys now, I like the away even more. Quite simply, sash designs are often popular. But, simple things like we've got 2 buttons, and again, speaking very personally, I much just prefer that rather than the 1 button. I think that's superior. The sash, which goes all the way from top to bottom, looks good. It's not on the back, but that's okay. I can forgive them for that. There were a few comments made. Oh, sorry guys. A few comments made about the placement of the Macron logo. And it is a little bit kind of triggering to see the angle of the stripe not matching the angle of the logo there. It's a small thing, but given how prominent that is on the shirt, it is enough to kind of say, oh, you know what? Those are the things that stop a shirt from being in the volcano tier. Is that enough to stop this one? I actually think it might not be, though. I think this is very good. Now, the sponsor is unfortunate, but I believe you can actually buy it without the sponsor from the club shop, which is something clubs have started doing. But yeah, long and short, I think this is really good. Given obviously when you've got this kind of colorway and a sash, you're thinking almost a bit river plate, or maybe if you reverse the red and the black there. But this is so good. Again, with a better sponsor or no sponsor, and the tweaks to the Macron logo. I think this would be even better. But I'm happy to sneak this in to the Volcano tier. And again, I'm surprised to be saying it, but a Stoke City shirt, which honestly for me is one of the most collectible or desirable shirts, at least for me in my style or taste of everything. More than these shirts here, more than the AK shirt. I really, really like this from Macron, and fair play, because as I say, Macron, they are not going anywhere. I really like this. And Rover, I completely agree. Rover saying, I appreciate they didn't leave a gap for the sponsor. Yes, exactly. I also really like that. For a sash design, it would really hurt. And we've seen sash kits that have done that before. Yeah, so that was good. Obviously, it is a betting sponsor. That's unfortunate. But they've incorporated it in pretty much the best way they could. I really like this. I realised, obviously, there's kind of shades as well as something like the City, was it the third shirt, the sash shirt they had with Umbo. That was one of the best shirts of the Premier League era, I would say. So some really good stuff coming out of Macron's stable. And yeah, two Stoke City there with the home and away in the top two tiers. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Guys, we've got a few more shirts to come. I think we can at least, maybe let's finish with Athletic Club and we'll pick up with Spurs on Thursday. Stevenage up next. Also, John Carl saying I like the outline of the sponsor of the sash. Indeed. Thomas, interested the crest is grey. Yeah, the black or the monochrome crest is an interesting decision. Now, there's a lot going on with this shirt, and you guys can probably guess where I'm going with this once the image loads, that is. This is the kind of gradient I don't typically like. Now again, it's I think my internet's okay, but please do shout if you've lost me, if I dropped on stream. This one, yeah, the red to black. The problem with a gradient like this is it's just not very attractive. You look at something like this and the colorway doesn't look very good. I'll be interested to see this reverse, so on the sleeves. Again, the page is very slow to load, I do apologise. It'll be interesting to see these sleeves flipped, so you had red to black. That might look a bit more consistent. But as is, honestly not a looker in my eyes. A very interesting combo as well with these lines here. I feel like it's a few ideas mixed into one. The flappy collar, though collars have come back in a big way this year, not the biggest fan. No, I think honestly I just think the colours are quite ugly. The red to black gradient, which is flipped from the sleeves, I don't think that's a good combo. Having some real problems trying to actually open these images. Again, I hope this is not, I hope I'm still live. I mean, to be honest, we could just do this, couldn't we? Oh no, that's not going to work. There we go. We got there in the end, guys. We got there in the end. Yeah, this one is, I think, a textbook ice cube. Not only for my kind of personal vendetta against gradients, but I do think the colours are pretty ugly. And looking again, the white contrast collar doesn't sit too great when you've got quite a lot of black on the shirt as well. Obviously red, white and black. I mean, we've seen it on, we talked about Stoke just now, and there's a few shirts like the Bari and the Athletic shirt there, which I really like in that colorway. But this is, the balance here is not to my taste, it must be said. So I'm happy to put that pretty low. I don't think there's much worse than that we've seen. Thanks, John Carl. Thank you, mate. The away, very what was that TV show called? Was it Harchester United? The team from I can't think what the show was called, but there'll be somebody who knows in chat. Yeah, this one, I mean, it seems to be, if not the same construction as the home, very similar. I mean, the pattern is slightly more appealing than the home, it should be said. But that's probably speaks more to how I don't like the home. It does about how much I like the away. Having some more issues. I'm guessing it's just a big image here. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on there. Let's just try again. That's loaded. I think I just need to let it load. Yeah, Thomas, I like this saying, purple with a prize sponsor, Twitch TV kit. Indeed. You know what? It does look like you'd get it free as part of your Twitch Prime or Twitch subscription. That's true. Yeah, I can't recall Stevens having a purple kit before. I may be wrong on that. But yeah, I think this one, I'd probably put it in the canons here. I actually don't mind that pattern. I think that has potential. And I think the collar, I actually prefer that as well to the home one. Yeah, it doesn't fall kind of foul of the biggest problems with the home. I would say that. You can see the pattern, you know, it's pretty good. You'd probably want more of it, I think, for it to really kind of go up to the next level. Yeah, Macron, you know, compared to Stoke, it really is chalk and cheese. I don't think this one is nearly as good, this combo, Stevenage combo. There aren't many purple kits in the world, you know, so if you're into purple kits, it would have potential. The prime sponsor as well has some appeal. Let's, you know, I'm going to make a note to jump back to Uruguay, but we'll finish with Bilbao. I've done this a couple of times, but I want to end on an interesting one. Let's just get that. We've got a new system here where we pick up. Let's just get some text here. Pick up back at Uruguay. But now we'll finish with Athletic Club's away shirt. Now this one had a lot of buzz today, and I think it is absolutely brilliant. This to me is a real sign, once the page loads again, that New Balance are back, guys. New Balance are back. And Australia, it looks like they've won. And just says, congrats to your Australia week. Hopefully the result on Monday will be similar to when Peru played Australia in Russia. I'm trying to remember what happened in that game. But yeah, there we go. So Australia playing Peru. Going to be a big game for many reasons. This is so good. And there was so many nice little links to old shirts here. There was an away shirt, which I'd totally not seen before, which had a similar line motif, and that's been brought back. Which again, if you haven't seen it before, but you can see the line. Once you kind of see it, you can't unsee it. But the line looks really good there. The aesthetics of this pattern as well. It reminded me of a classic Jorge Campos kit, one of his many good kits. It reminded me a bit of one of those. But then people also suggested it could be a play or a nod to the famous ketchup kit, which I'm sure many of you would have seen. So loads of kind of little potential nods. The playing back is a bit of a shame, but again, that's kind of what you come to expect with a lot of modern kits. I think this is really good though. I really like the aesthetics of that pattern. Yes, it is a bit 90s, and you could argue that we've had a lot of what feel like generally quite 90s kits, but I do appreciate that even though there are nods to various kits, I think it was 2007 the away kit with that lion pattern, and the kind of semi nod or evoking shades of the ketchup kit. It is ultimately, well, there is some creativity here. It's not just a rehash of an old design completely, and I really like the balance of colours here. I like that the red is kind of used as this to kind of in this kind of drop shadow. It looks really good. It adds a kind of depth to the design, which I think is often lacking on a lot of kits. I think that, honestly, guys, I'm putting this in the Volcano tier. I really like this. It's one I'd love to pick up, and that's our second Volcano tier kit of the day. So we had a few duds today, but we've finished on a high. We've finished on a few good ones in the last selection here. I really like this shirt. Honestly, I think I again, I've been hoping for New Balance to kind of get back to the heights that they were making some good shirts a few years ago. I'd kind of cooled down on them in the last few years, but this season, well, based on their early stuff, I'm trying to match up to this shirt here, and it's really bugging me. There we go. Based on some of the early shirts, I think we are in for a treat. And at the very least, I'm liking their kits a lot more than I was last season. Yeah, really, really good. And again, I'm struggling to get this. So there we go. Excellent stuff in New Balance. Honestly, I may even put it. Let's put it a bit higher. I'm really high on this shirt. I think it looks really good. So people commented on the black sleeves. I don't mind that. I can understand that. And obviously, yeah, the pattern could go on the back. But yeah, in short, really good. And Ragav says, just tuning. Hey, Dimon. I'm doing well. Thank you, Ragav. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it, even though we are closing up very shortly. Thank you. John Costin, I like it, but can't put it in the volcano because of the blank back. Yeah, that's fair. I've kind of, been fairly, in many ways, I think over the months, I've softened a little bit. We've got a gradient or something that incorporates a gradient. We've got, some of the other elements. I think, we'll do a review probably at the end of this month. Well, I'm going to say something like, I'm going to basically pick a number and move up to that many kits across tiers. Because as we look in retrospect, I think there's some shirts which maybe could go up or down. Now we've seen more of the year's releases. And Thomas reminds me of some street art. Yeah, it does have a street art vibe to it. Honestly, I really like this. The line, even though it could be seen as a bit forced, I really think they've incorporated it well into the pattern. You don't see it at first, but it's there. I really like. I like the way it's been presented here. Yeah, I'm big on this. I think this is one of my favourite shirts. Well, it is one of my favourite shirts released so far this season. Guys, that is the hot wall. So we've picked up. We are very close. We will. Apologies there. We will, as I said, we'll resume with Uruguay. We've got a few more shirts to talk about. Obviously, Spurs today, and there'll be a few more in the next couple of days, I'm sure. But there we go. It's good to be almost caught up. And highlights today were certainly Stoke and Athletic Club away, but the Athletic Club home as well was good. The Stoke home was good. So Stoke and Athletic Club both doing the business, I would say. Macron and New Balance doing some really good work. And as we close, I've just accidentally hidden all those layers. Let's just make sure. I just want to make sure that I've got everything correct here. Yeah, that's good. Again, sorry, I accidentally hit a shortcut on my on Photoshop, and now what is going on there? We don't need that. Sorry guys, I've just realised, as I say, what is going on? Why can I no longer see the shirts here? Apologies for this technical difficulty. I'm just making sure because I've now I've got to open all these shirts. Basically, I've actually hidden one of these, hidden all my layers, and I'm just quickly going through and making sure that I can actually see all the shirts, because the last thing I want to do is save this document having deleted some layers. So if you just give me 30 seconds as I try and very quickly, and this is reminding me how many layers we have here, as I desperately try to unhide all of these layers. Again, this is going to take more than 30 seconds as I do this. 1-0 Germany. Hoffman, people should have saved. Yes, Germany are playing the women's kit. Thank you again, Thomas. I'd be interested to know what you guys think of the Germany women's kit, actually. I quite liked it. I think there was a lot to like about it. I think from memory we did rank it in the Flames tier, but I may be wrong. Again, I'm just trying to go through all these kits here. don't know what shortcut I hit, but it hid all the layers, and there probably is one to unhide all the layers. But now I've started. I want to make sure they're all there, and we're not missing anything. So I'm just going through every single layer and opening them as we speak, which is quite funny because there are lots of layers. I think we're looking at that again. We're nearly there. That's good. Yeah, that's also good. It's fine. Oh dear. Right, we're good. Apologies, guys, for that rather long interlude there, as I desperately tried to make sure that I hadn't just removed a load of stuff from the hot wall. Apologies. Get back to the right scene there as well. From Michelle Connoisseur, hello, my friend. We're just about to close up, but thank you for stopping by nonetheless. And guys, thank you as always. It's always good to hang out. Appreciate your contributions. Your comments, your opinions. It's always welcome. Please do fire any last minute questions as we close up, and as we do, it's obviously it's time for a bit of housekeeping. Please do subscribe if you're new. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, leave a comment, say what you liked, or if you didn't like it, equally let me know. And guys, there's a Patreon if you want to support me further. But thank you as always. As we close, a few more comments. Like I said, I wouldn't even release another Make It More Silky and Incorporate Hologram Stripe, and it's a banger. Alias have done well here. Now, which one was that about? So, Ragav. Yeah, sorry, I completely missed that. Let me know which shirt you're referring to. Thomas said the women's international kits are way more fun. They typically are. I mean, we're going to have the Women's Euros this summer. There's going to be some really good shirts on show there. Which is going to be cool. And like I say, peculiar how Nike decided to create t-shirts templates for the World Cup with football shirts. I'll be right now. Nike, why? Yeah, I think in many ways, Nike, Adidas, the other big names, they're always going to have templates. I think the ones that do work well, that have worked well in the past. If you're going to have a relatively plain shirt as a pattern, it's good to see things like more creative constructions, materials, that kind of thing. That's an area in a shirt where you can actually separate what could otherwise be a very boring kit from one which is a bit more interesting. But there have been some plain shirts, it must be said. It's a kind of natural thing, really, rebounding, I would say, from the pattern heavy side of things that we've seen over the last few years. In what people sometimes refer to as the kind of post-Nigeria landscape. That is kind of what it's been like. And, for better or for worse, we've really lent into the pattern side. I think we'll probably see that reduce a little bit, but hopefully we see some more technological advancements which would progress the industry forward a bit. We will wait and see what happens. And as we close, I guess Bristol City's goalkeeper shirt is fire is indeed. And do go. I mean, it goes without saying. Obviously, we didn't talk about it, and we won't talk about it because it's a goalkeeper shirt for the hot wall. But obviously, I'm sure many of you have seen it by now. It is a really fun design. I'm hoping I can pick that one up actually and take some pictures and look at it in person. But we'll see what happens there. Thank you, guys. As always, I'll be back on Thursday, so we'll do our usual Thursday afternoon slot. But it's been good to hang out, especially to see some faces that we don't often see on the streams. Have a good evening, and if I don't speak to you before Thursday, see you then. And if I don't see you on Thursday, I'll see you soon for another video or live stream, whatever it may be. As always, it's good to hang out, so thank you. Cheers, Thomas. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, have a good one. I will see you soon, guys. If I can just look past my microphone to my screen, there we go. Oh dear. I'm very out of focus there. Camera is struggling to focus. Still struggling to focus. There we go. Take care, Jess. and John Carl and everyone else. Yeah, see you soon for another video.